Hey guys, my name is Matt. I am a Dragon Ball content creator and collector, and this is my collection of over 400 Dragon Ball figures. It's been a bit since my last collection update, and I know a lot of people have been requesting this video, so I decided what better time to do it than after I just cleaned and reorganized my collection, now featuring acrylic risers. So what I'm going to do in this video is show you my main collection, which is my MASTERLISE collection, and I believe I have the largest Dragon Ball MASTERLISE collection in the United States. Would love to see if someone could link me something to prove me wrong, but I'm pretty confident in saying that. After I show you my main collection and how I organize everything and my thoughts on every shelf that I have, I will show you all of the other spots in my home that have different Dragon Ball figures and merchandise. So without further ado, let's begin with my first shelf, which is my OG Dragon Ball shelf. So I organize my entire collection by arc/saga. Certain arcs have more MASTERLISE and Ichiban Kuji figures available for it than others, so I do my best in trying to make every single one as thematic as possible. So for this shelf, my focus is the earlier parts of OG Dragon Ball. So things like the Piccolo arc, the 21st Tenkaiichi Budokai, pretty much everything up until the 22nd Tenkaiichi Budokai. I really love how this shelf looks now. It's probably in my top 5 for the most aesthetically pleasing shelves in my collection currently, and I'm just really happy with how the acrylic risers made Gyumao and Master Roshi, Bulma, Yamcha, and some of the others look a lot more apparent now that you can see them. If I had to pick my top 3 from this shelf, number 1 is obviously the Ultimate Variation Shenron. He's a crucial part and centerpiece for the entire shelf, plus he's one of the best Ichiban Kuji figures ever made. Number 2 has got to be Max Power Roshi. This figure is so awesome, and I'm so glad that he came out just this year, and he's already kind of blowing me away. And also right behind him is another figure from the same set that came out just this year. It's Yamcha. We don't get a lot of Yamcha figures, and this one is particularly unique because it is his Desert Bandit outfit. Moving on, we have my second OG Dragon Ball shelf, and this one is more so focused on the Piccolo Daimo arc and Red Ribbon arc. There have been quite a few Piccolo Daimo figures released within Ichiban Kuji over the last few years, but I am hoping that they deliver a lot more like Tambourine and Cymbal and Drum, you know, Piccolo's demon minions. And I do hope that they start doing some Red Ribbon arc figures, because the only one that we really have is Tao Pai Pai. I'd love to see characters like General Blue introduced, so let's hope that they start doing those sooner rather than later. If I had to pick a top 3 on this shelf, then number 1 is definitely Piccolo Daimo as the centerpiece. Him sitting in his throne just has so much aura behind it, and the figure itself is just tremendously cool. Number 2 is Tao Pai Pai, which is a figure made by my favorite sculptor in the business, Varuk. The figure speaks for itself. Tao Pai Pai almost never gets figures in general, and Varuk just did an amazing job in making that one. And then number 3 is probably Kami, sitting back there, looking over everybody. That figure, it just has so much detail. It is really underrated, and I absolutely love it. Up next is my last OG Dragon Ball shelf, and this one is completely focused on the 23rd Tenkaiichi Budokai. We had an entire Ichiban Kuji set released just a couple of years ago that was focused exclusively on the 23rd Tenkaiichi Budokai, so we got figures like Chi-Chi, Ma Jr., and even the Tenkaiichi Budokai announcer. So with such a variety of different OG Dragon Ball figures introduced in MASTERLISE and Ichiban Kuji, I obviously had to start splitting these up. This is obviously the more barren of the 3 shelves that I have of OG Dragon Ball, so I do hope they start to introduce more 23rd Tenkaiichi Budokai figures, maybe Goku and Piccolo before they fight, and maybe characters like Shen and other people that participate in the tournament. My top 3 for this shelf are definitely number 1 is the Tenkaiichi Budokai announcer, just an absolutely awesome figure, and I'm still amazed that we have this as a MASTERLISE. Number 2 is the Goku rubbing his head from the same set that the announcer's from. I used to like the Umbrella Goku a little bit more just because it was a bit more unique, but the one with his turban off just has really grown on me. It's a lot more iconic and recognizable for Goku. And then number 3 is obviously Ma Jr. figure, Piccolo himself. I just love the way this figure looks. It really captures that early Toriyama art style, and I think it is pretty unique for Piccolo. Plus, it's our first Dripolo MASTERLISE figure. I am hoping they make a Z version eventually, but this one is still pretty cool. Up next is a shelf that I am now really happy with, and it is the Saiyan Saga shelf. I will say, if they continue to add more Saiyan Saga figures, this is definitely going to have to get split up, maybe into a Raditz Arc shelf and then a Vegeta Arc shelf, but I guess we're going to see what Bandai has cooking up next. This shelf looked pretty bad before. There were so many figures and they were all about the same height, or there are some short ones and some big ones, so a lot of people were on top of each other, a lot of people were blocking each other from view, but now with these acrylic risers, they look so much better. Also, yes, I do know that my acrylic risers still have the film on them. I didn't realize that these things had removable film on top of them, so I will remove them the next time I clean all of this up, but I dusted and cleaned every single figure and shelf when I was doing this video, so I was a little bit tired, didn't want to go back and reorganize everything again. I'm really hoping that we see the iconic Goku versus Vegeta poses, maybe some Goku and Piccolo from their fight with Raditz. I don't really know what more they can do that would be that significant, maybe Kaio-sama or King Enma, but I guess we're going to see what Bandai has for the Saiyan Arc next. My top 3 for this shelf are definitely number 1 is the Kaioken x3 Goku, number 2 is the Piccolo protecting Gohan that Varuk made, and number 3 is another Varuk figure. It is the Saiyan Arc Vegeta, just posing up in front, gathering as much aura as possible. Up next is probably the best looking shelf in my entire collection. It looked amazing before, but now with these acrylic risers, it looks even better. It is the Namek Arc for Dragon Ball Z. So this did get split up with my Frieza shelf, so I will show that one next, but this one is focused on the beginning part of Namek, when you're fighting Zarbon, Dodoria, the Ginyu Force, that part of the Namek saga. Bandai really hit a lot of the big hitters. I think the Ginyu Force really was the set that brought everything together, but I do hope that we start to see more protagonists from this arc, namely Goku that's not in Kaioken, maybe the other armor for Vegeta, different looks for Bulma. They can do a lot more. Monster Zarbon is obviously a big omission. Guru would be an amazing figure to have as a centerpiece on this shelf, and even MASTERLISE Nail would be really cool to see, so I really hope that we start to see some more protagonists from the Namek arc. If I had to pick a top 3 for this shelf, number 1 is definitely the new Varuk Vegeta up there in the front. It is just an absolutely incredible figure. Number 2 is Rikum, the best Ginyu Force member of them all. And number 3 is Captain Ginyu himself, just a really awesome figure, and who doesn't love the captain? All right, up next is a new and improved Frieza Arc shelf. This one was another one that had just a bunch of people on top of each other. You couldn't really see anybody properly. Porunga barely fits on this shelf, and it was just really hard to get him to fit and not get blocked off by people, but now things look a lot better. I'll also quickly mention that I know that the lighting for these isn't the best. That is the next big step for my display case. I have a Majin case coming, so I think that's going to really help my entire collection look a lot less busy and have that proper lighting that I'm looking for. Plus, it's going to be in glass, so the dust won't be as much of a problem for me. But as you can see, I have the heroes on the left and then Frieza and all of his forms on the right. This is when you're also going to start to see that I have more than just MASTERLISE on these shelves now. I have that Master Stars piece Frieza back there, and I do agree with most people about that figure. He is probably the best Frieza figure that you can get. If I picked a top 3 for this shelf, obviously number 1 is Porunga, number 2 is that Master Stars piece Frieza, and number 3 is the Battle of World E-Moving Last One prize Super Saiyan Goku at the top left. I really don't know who else they could add for the Frieza arc that I would like to see here. Maybe Super Saiyan Goku with his shirt completely ripped off doing the "you mean Krillin" moment, but I'm still grasping at straws as to what else they could do for Frieza. Namek, I get, but Frieza, I think they've pretty much exhausted almost everything that we'd want to see. Maybe Piccolo should be included next. All right, this is another shelf that is a lot more improved. I'm not 100% in love with it yet, and I think that's mostly because of the lack of characters that I'd like to see for my Android Arc shelf. This is also the Trunks arc mixed into the Android arc, so pretty much everything up until the Z fighters get their butts kicked by the androids. But yeah, a lot of people were out of view or being blocked on this shelf, but the acrylic risers really make things look a lot cleaner, and you can see pretty much every figure here. My biggest desire is more protagonists once again from these arcs. I'd love to see some Super Saiyan Vegeta doing the Big Bang attack, more Goku, more Piccolo, more Kid Gohan. They should definitely do that big banner of all of the Z fighters, Yamcha, Tenshinhan, Chaozu, Trunks. There's actually a few that they can choose from that Toriyama drew himself, so if they choose any of those and just make an entire Masterly set, make it kind of like a Warriors Who Defend the Earth Part 2, I think that would look amazing for an Android Saga shelf. My top 3 for this shelf are mostly androids. Number 1 is definitely Dr. Gero. He is absolutely incredible. Number 2 is another Varuk figure. It's Android 17, standing all proud in the front there. And then number 3 is Android 19. Even though Android 19 is not one of my favorite characters, the figure is freaking awesome. All right, so obviously my Android Saga stuff has been split up into 3 different shelves. So the next shelf is the Cell arc. So this is basically everything before the Cell games. Lots of battle armor Saiyans here, lots of different forms for Cell. I think this shelf didn't really change all too much. I added a couple of acrylic risers in the back for Trunks and Cell, just so you can see them a little bit better. I used to have the Strong Chains Goku off to the left where he was just kind of randomly standing there, but I think here in the center he looks a lot better. There's a ton missing from this arc that I'd still love to see. Tenshinhan has a big moment in this arc, so they should do something for him. Maybe not buffed out Super Saiyan Goku in the armor would be really cool. Of course, more Vegeta, and Trunks is severely lacking in general, so I think Bandai needs to step it up because Trunks was so popular in the original manga that during the Buu arc, future Trunks was not seen or talked about whatsoever, and yet he was still in the top 10 characters in popularity polls. Stack ranking my favorite figures on this shelf. Number 1 is definitely the Strong Chains base Goku up in the front. Just an absolutely amazing Grail figure. Number 2 is Perfect Cell. Even though we have a better Perfect Cell figure, which you'll see in a moment here, this one is still incredible and was my favorite figure back from 2021. And number 3 is Super Vegeta. A lot of people clown on this figure. I don't know why. I think it's absolutely incredible. Some people just say his face is weird, but I don't think it's that bad at all. All right, moving on, it is the Cell Games shelf. Now this one is also a very improved shelf. Less people are being blocked out now. I actually did change this after I recorded this video. I moved the Cell Juniors all the way across, so there's 4 on each side, and then I moved those Z fighters on the right side a little further up. But I think this shelf is really starting to come together again. We're missing a lot of protagonists, so I would love to see more of those. Maybe Goku without battle damage and some other cool stuff. Father-Son Kamehameha would really bring this shelf together, especially since the Teen Gohan we currently have just isn't what a lot of fans love, but he's fine for now, I guess, and there are some pretty cool figures on this shelf as it stands today. Stack ranking, everybody, Mr. Satan is easily my favorite figure on this shelf. He is just absolutely amazing. I'm in love with him, hands down. Strong Chains Vegeta is probably number 2 in my heart. Just a Grail figure and probably one of the best Vegeta figures that you can get today. And number 3 is the Duel to the Future Perfect Cell. I also like to call him Super Perfect Cell just because they added some extra shading on him and he's from that moment when he gets revived. Even though Super Perfect Cell is more of a fan term, it's not a real form, but yeah, there he is. All right, this shelf is a lot better now, but definitely needs a lot of work, and I think that's really just going to get resolved when they introduce some more characters for the Majin Buu arc. Specifically, I'd love to see them do more Babidi arc characters, maybe even Saiyaman arc characters, so things like Videl, you can do Spopovich, you could do Pui Pui, Yaikon. There's a lot of different characters that they could add that would allow me to rightfully split this up, because yeah, there's definitely a ton of Buu, and you could make a good Buu arc shelf, but if I split this up to do Babidi and Buu, then the Babidi shelf would be like barren. There would be like 3 or 4 figures on it. So So it is starting to come together. It's better than it was before. Less characters are blocked off, but it is getting really crowded here, and I hope that they introduce more Babidi Arc characters or Saiyaman Arc characters so that I can split this up and make things look really nice. Stack ranking the figures on this shelf, number 1 is easily Majin Buu, Fat Buu there in the back. He is a Grail figure. Everybody knows how amazing he is. Number 2 is definitely Super Saiyan 3 Goku. In my eyes, that is the best Super Saiyan 3 Goku figure that you can get today. And number 3 is the Super Saiyan Goku from Battle for the Universe doing the Super Spirit Bomb. Just a absolute treat of a figure. Nobody knew it was going to be as great as it was, and it delivered. All right, and now the Daima shelf. Daima is really gotten a lot of representation in the figure world. I'm happy with who they selected so far. Obviously, you can also see that I was able to get my tripod out because this shelf is a little bit lower, so I didn't have to hold the camera, so the shot's a little steadier now. But I'm really loving how the Daima shelf is coming together. Obviously, this is because we've gotten a ton of Ichiban Kuji so far that represents Daima. I am hoping that we get some other characters besides Goku and Vegeta, things like Dr. Arinsu. She is definitely one of my most requested characters in all of Dragon Ball. I'd like to see more adult forms of the other characters, so Bulma, Kaioshin, Piccolo, Vegeta, Goku. So definitely a little bit more Goku and Vegeta, but I'd still love to see the Tamagami, Majin Buu, Majin Ku, maybe a normal Goma figure. So there's still a ton that they can do. I hope that this isn't it for Daima because it still feels incomplete. But yeah, stack ranking everybody on this shelf. Number 1 is definitely my Super Saiyan 4 Daima Goku. Number 2 is Super Saiyan 4 Goku Mini. And number 3 is Goma. I would add my red Purunga that I got from John's Hobby Room, but since it is a custom figure, I'm not going to count it because if I did, he would just be number 1. All right, my Dragon Ball Super shelf. Now, this one used to be split up and then it wasn't split up, and the way I had it before was definitely way too crowded. As you can already kind of tell, it is still pretty crowded. Bandai is clearly lacking in DBS characters. There are so many that we're missing. We just really got a ton of Goku and Vegeta, and you know, you only have like a couple of villains that are basically grouped there in the center. Where is Hit? Where is Kefla? Where is Zamasu? There's just so many characters missing. I don't know why Bandai refuses to make Masterlies for Dragon Ball Super. We are getting a new one though with Varuk doing the Gohan Goku Father-Son Kamehameha DBS style, but I want to see other figures. So hopefully that's the start of them returning to Dragon Ball Super, but I guess we're going to see. But yeah, I've mixed in a couple different figures on here. You got the Maxamatic Blue Evolution Vegeta in the back, which is the best Blue Evolution Vegeta figure you can get. You have a couple of Master Stars piece figures here in the front with Gotenks, Goku from Resurrection F, Vegeta Blue from Resurrection F, but I really do think the Masterlies figures really bring out the quality of this shelf. Stack ranking these figures, I would put the Dragon Ball Memories Blue Vegeta there all the way on the right as number 1, Dragon Ball Memories Goku at number 2, Dragon Ball Memories Blue Goku at number 2, and then the Super Saiyan Rose Goku Black at number 3. Alright, I guess this is how you can say that I split up Dragon Ball Super, as this is the Dragon Ball Super Broly shelf. Broly got plenty of figures when this movie came out, probably for too long, but I think they did deliver some quality stuff and they got the main stuff out of the way. Obviously, it's basically just Goku, Vegeta, and Broly and Gogeta on this shelf. I don't think anybody is dying for them to return to DBS Broly anytime soon, but if they did, I would love to see some of the supporting characters. Chilai, Limo, Paragus, a lot of the other characters would be a lot more interesting, but there are some forms and stuff that you can do for some of these other characters. We still don't have a scaled Gogeta in his base form. We still don't have Goku or Vegeta in their snow outfits or in other forms from their movie, namely Super Saiyan God Goku. Don't know how Trunks and Vegeta get a Super Saiyan God figure before Goku, and Goku still doesn't have one. That's just kind of weird to me. But yeah, stack ranking this shelf, I would put the Goku and Vegeta tag team in the center at number 1, the Wrath Broly at number 2, and the Full Power Super Saiyan Broly all the way in the back at number 3. Alright, our last Dragon Ball Super shelf, and it's obviously Dragon Ball Super Hero, my second favorite Dragon Ball movie, right next to Broly. Again, this is another one where they got the main stuff out of the way. No one's asking them to go back to DBS Super Hero anytime soon, but if they did, I think we'd like to see some of the supporting cast. You got everything we needed, like Piccolo, Ultimate Piccolo, Orange Piccolo, and then all of Gohan's different forms, and even 2 different Beast Gohans. And then obviously you have the Gamma Bros and Cell Max, who are the big villains of the movie. But it would still be nice to see Fat Gotenks, maybe older Goten and Trunks, Android 18, Police Krillin, hey, even Dr. Hedo. I'd love to see Dr. Hedo. But yeah, as it stands, this shelf is pretty much complete. If they did add some more, it would be supporting characters I'd be looking for. Stack ranking this shelf, I would put the Orange Piccolo from Omnibus Beast at number 1 with him walking forward, Cell Max at number 2, and then the Special Beam Cannon Last One Prize Gohan Beast at number 3. Dragon Ball GT, it is starting to finally fill itself out. This shelf was pretty vacant for a while, but hey, it is starting to come together. They gave us a couple of figures last year, so I'm hoping that they do a lot more very soon. There's plenty of notable characters and forms missing. I'm not even going to bother listing them out. You can just take one glance at this shelf and notice some very big omissions that are key players and key characters from Dragon Ball GT, so yeah, I'm not going to bother naming all of them. And if you are wondering, the Greatest Saiyan Uzaru is out in my living room. He does not fit on my shelves currently. Maybe when the Maji case comes in, he's going to fit, and I'll be displaying both of the Golden Uzarus. One's going to represent Goku, one's going to represent Vegeta. Stack ranking everybody on this shelf, I would put Super Saiyan 4 Goku at number 1, Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta is number 2, and Omega Shenron is number 3. All right, this is probably my least favorite shelf currently, and that's probably because you can see that it is very crowded. This is pretty much how all my shelves looked before, the ones with a ton of characters on them. This is my Dragon Ball Z movie shelf, but there are so many characters right now that I can't even fit acrylic risers on here, so there's no helping how crowded it is. I'm actually just hoping Bandai gives us a few more, just one more film Kuji, put in like Tapion and Harudegarn and a couple of other key characters that we don't have yet, and then I will comfortably split this one out, because if I did it right now, I just feel like it would look kind of random. Not a lot of the characters are related to each other. A lot of the villains from the Z movies are here, at least Cooler, Broly, Janemba, Turles is here, but I think it would just look a little weird not having accompanying figures with them. I almost wish Bandai didn't do holistic film Kujis and rather did Kujis for each individual Z film, so that way you can get characters like Goku doing specific moments or having specific outfits from those movies. So yeah, a lot is missing from this shelf in my opinion, and it is super crowded right now, so I didn't even bother dusting these off. They look a little dirty, but hopefully in the future this ends up being one of my better looking shelves. Stack ranking this shelf, I would put the Back to the Film Final Form Cooler easily at number 1. The Omnibus Z Legendary Super Saiyan Broly is a very close second, and then Turles is number 3. So yeah, Super Dragon Ball Heroes has a place back again, and it ended up getting 2 shelves. I did used to have every single MASTERLISE Dragon Ball figure that has released to this day, but I decided to sell off a few of them, mostly the duplicates of characters that we already have, things like Omnibus Ultra Vegeta doing his final impact technique. We already have the Battle of World Majin Vegeta, and I have 2 of him, so I really didn't need another Majin Vegeta. And yes, I sold off a lot of my Super Dragon Ball Heroes figures, mostly from the first 2 Super Dragon Ball Hero sets. There was a lot of redundancy in there, a lot of duplicate characters, and frankly, most of those figures don't look that great. And yeah, I sold off a lot of my extra Brolys because there's like 6 King Cluster Super Saiyan DBS Brolys. There's a bunch of blue Gogetas, so I didn't really need like 5 blue Gogetas. So I sold off a lot of the duplicates and more of the bad Super Dragon Ball Heroes figures that aren't as unique as some of the others. But yeah, this one is focused more on the Super Saiyan 4 figures released for Super Dragon Ball Heroes. Stack ranking all of them, the Super Saiyan 4 Brolys to the side, the regular and limit breaker forms are pretty much tied since they're essentially the same figure. Really depends on what day you ask me which one I like more. Right now, if you ask me, it's going to be the regular Super Saiyan 4 just because I like the colors a bit better, but he is number 1. Number 2 is definitely Vegito, and then number 3 is Super Saiyan 4 Goku. And our last Super Dragon Ball Hero shelf, and I believe our last focused MASTERLISE shelf in my main collection is right here. This one is my preferred of the two, even though I think some of the figures on the other Super Dragon Ball Hero shelf are better figures for the most part. There are a lot of bangers on this shelf, and the colors on this shelf really pop. I forgot who said it when I was showing this off to my friends on our Discord server, but someone said this is pretty much like the Power Rangers. You have yellow, silver, blue, red, pink, green, and I just thought that was really funny and actually kind of true and very fitting for Super Dragon Ball Heroes in a way. If I stack ranked these figures, I would put the Super Saiyan 3 Full Power Rose at number 1, Super Saiyan 3 Broly is number 2, and then the Super Saiyan God Trunks is probably my number 3. All right, I don't just have MASTERLISE figures in my main collection. I decided to put my Super Master Stars piece up here too. Why couldn't I do that? They're the most premium figures you can probably get from the past. Some are definitely better than others, and now that I have pretty much all of them with just a few missing, and I'll talk about that in a minute, I had to display them. Now this one I really do like because I was also able to fit in my MASTERLISE Extra Gogetas from Extreme Saiyan there in the far right, but I think the real standout pieces are the second Super Master Stars piece Gogeta, the blue Gogeta doing the Kamehameha. This entire set is probably one of the best Super Master Stars piece that they've ever done. Plus, he's super affordable, so I think he's a really cool one for people to collect. And I like his manga dimensions. Those who know this channel know that I'm not the biggest fan of manga dimensions. I think when people do customs of manga dimensions, it usually looks better than the official product, but this Gogeta manga dimensions is really good. The other 4 original Super Master Stars piece Gogetas that are in the back towards the left are the worst Super Master Stars piece figures. The manga dimensions is hideous, and the rest of them just don't really look like Gogeta, have some weird sculpting techniques, and just aren't my style. So yeah, stack ranking this, Super Master Stars piece 2 Gogeta is number 1, the Extreme Saiyans are number 2, and the other Super Master Stars piece Gogeta are a very low 3rd. All right, this is my second of 3 Super Master Stars piece shelves. This is probably my most expensive shelf in my collection. As you can see in the back, we have most of the Super Master Stars piece Super Saiyan Goku. We have the 01, the 02, the 03, the 04, the 06, the 07, well, technically the 07 is the Xenoverse 2, and the Lunar New Year. So I do have the 05, which is the Brush 2. It is on its way. I got it on Zen Market, so I will soon have displayed the entire complete set of Super Master Stars piece Super Saiyan Goku. The only Super Master Stars piece figures I am missing now are the 4 versions of Vegeta. Those are the most expensive, so it's going to take some time and me gathering all of those, but I am planning on collecting him hopefully this year. But yeah, I think if I had to stack rank these, the 02 Super Saiyan Goku is freaking incredible. The colors are just chef's kiss, dude. It is really good. Number 2 is the Brush Super Saiyan 4 Goku, and then number 3 is the original Super Saiyan 4 Goku. All right, Manga Dimensions lovers, we have more Manga Dimensions here. It is the Grandista Manga Dimensions collection, my complete set of Manga Dimensions Grandista figures right here to display. Like I said, I'm not the biggest fan of Manga Dimensions. I just don't think it's very cohesive. It usually just makes the figures look a little messy. Like the Rose Goku Black, for example. I know a lot of people love that one, but man, I'm just not that crazy about it. But, you know, I do have some bragging rights here because you have things like the gold Manga Dimensions Goku in the back there. I think that's probably the worst one on the shelf, to be honest. But hey, he's rare and really expensive. So bragging rights. But if I did have to stack rank these, I think Bardock's actually does look really good. Goku in his base form also looks really good, and then Vegeta in his base form also look really good. I think the base forms really do take advantage of that Manga Dimensions, and it looks a lot cleaner than some of the other ones. All right, and these are some of my other Resolution of Soldiers Grandista figures. These are basically all of the original Gokus and Bardocks, so obviously there's a ton of room on this shelf, but I wanted to make things look as clean as possible, so things might change as more figures get introduced into my collection and space becomes a closing in factor. But yeah, these are all pretty awesome. I still have my qualms with the original Goku. A lot of people will say that it's the best thing since sliced bread, but frankly, I still think his gi looks one size too big for his body. I don't like the glossy hair finish for Super Saiyan and Super Saiyan 3, and I just think he looks overall really stiff in his body, and his proportions are kind of weird. Like his head is like a little too small, but yeah, still really great. Don't get me wrong. I'm just willing to point out the faults with the figure. Bardock is one of the best Grandista figures, totally slept on. Stack ranking these, Super Saiyan 3 Goku is number 1, Base Goku is number 2, and Super Saiyan Bardock is number 3. Alright, so here are the rest of the Grandista figures in my collection, and now you can really start to see that, man, Matt, your lighting sucks. Yeah, it does suck. This is the bottom shelf towards the floor. There's no good lighting here, so the figures in the back are just really going to get crowded. But yeah, I do love a lot of these. I think more of my favorite Grandista are here in the shelf, besides the new Super Saiyan Goku. He's elsewhere in my collection, which we'll talk about in a second here. But yeah, love these figures regardless, even with their shaky pass, like the Gotenks in the front with no shading and hollow legs. But yeah, I still love a lot of them. Stack ranking these, I would put Super Saiyan 2 Teen Gohan at number 1, Ultimate Gohan at number 2, and the new Super Saiyan Vegeta in the front at number 3. All right, quickly going over this shelf, these are my spare Extreme Saiyan figures. I didn't really have anywhere else to put them that fit thematically, so here they are on their lonesome on this shelf. If you wanted me to stack rank these, then it's just from right to left. It's the UI Sign Goku, the Mastered UI Goku, and then Vegito Blue. And finally, my last shelf on the main collection, doing my best to get a decent angle. It is my last Super Master Stars piece shelf with the 5 versions of Goodbye Goku and the 4 versions of the superior Super Saiyan 4 Goku figure. The Goodbye Gokus are just really good. I think they look great on any display. Once I get my Maji case, I am planning on putting all of the Super Master Stars piece figures on the very top of the Maji case, so I think it'll look a lot better, but as it is right now, I think they do bring a lot of charm to my collection. To stack rank these, I would put the Daimatsuri Goku at number 1, the Brush Super Saiyan 4 Goku at number 2, and the Brush Goku at number 3. Okay, quickly moving on to other spots in my apartment. We have other figures that are just kind of spread across everywhere. I forgot to get footage of the original Daima Porunga that I have. It's over by my TV somewhere, but honestly, does anybody really want to see that? But we have the Super Saiyan, I believe it's called the Chozitsu Art Collection Goku. I think he is a really cool classic Dragon Ball Kai figure. If you've never seen him, I do recommend him quite a bit. He's a really cool centerpiece and has a ton of detail and is kind of big. So if you like figures like that, I think he's a good choice. Here is the Greatest Saiyan Golden Uzaru figure that I mentioned earlier. Obviously, he can't fit in my main collection, so as of right now, he's in the living room. But then we have other little knickknacks. I have different acrylic stands. Obviously, my home media collection of Dragon Ball. I have the complete series on DVD and Blu-ray. So the original Dragon Ball on DVD, the original Dragon Ball movies on DVD, Dragon Ball Z and the Z movies on Blu-ray, the DBS series and movies on Blu-ray, GT on DVD. I have the Battle of Gods DVD as well, because that's how you can watch Yosun Goku and Friends. I have 3 versions of Super Hero, a Blu-ray, and then the 2 4K special steelbook editions from Walmart and Target. And then you have some other figures here too, like the Maxamatic Ultra Instinct Goku and the Maxamatic Majin Vegeta. So we got some other spare figures out here as well. But then we have another shelf, and this is where I'm actually sharing some of my collection with my fiance Taylor. Both of those lunch figures belong to her from Glitter and Glamours. I recently recollected the Videl because that's pretty much the only Videl figure we have. Here's my Nintendo Switch collection that is slowly growing. That's kind of like my other hobby. I like to collect games, but I'm not trying to be a super completionist with games, just picking up games that I grew up with or series that I grew up with that I know I love that I want to pick up all the games for. Obviously, the Dragon Ball games are a big piece of that, but I'm a big fan of Mario, Zelda, Smash Brothers, Pokemon is obviously very huge for me, Mario Kart, Luigi's Mansion. So yeah, lots of games like that. And obviously I have the Switch too, so got Mario Kart World on standby. And there's some other classic games. Crash Bandicoot is huge for me. Parappa the Rapper, Rampage, Rugrats Search for Reptar is a classic if you've ever played that. Obviously Dragon Ball, Ratchet and Clank, Jak and Daxter, Sly Cooper, But yeah, and then there's other little things here like photos of my dog, photos of Shenron, other little things that accent our shelves just to make things look a little nicer and a little cleaner. And here are the other Maxamatic figures that I have. So I have the complete Dragon Ball Maxamatic series, so every Goku, every Vegeta. Not very hard to do that since there's only like 8 figures. I also got these classic Super Dragon Ball Heroes figures of UI Goku, Vegito Blue. I also got the Dragon Ball Legends collab Super Saiyan Goku, which was one of the first figures I ever got when I first started getting into this hobby in 2018. So I needed to get some classic nostalgic figures for myself in my collection. And these are some spare Masterlies Goku figures that couldn't fit in my main collection, and they didn't really have a spot on the DBS shelf, so I decided to move them out into the living room until a later date when I have more space or a better idea of where I want to put them. Also out in my living room, we have some other figures that I have in a nice display case that Temu got with me for a sponsored video. This Masterlies baby Kakarot doesn't fit in my main collection, so unfortunately he has to be out here. Here is a resin that was gifted to me. I believe it's a KD Collectibles Super Saiyan Goku. It was gifted to me from my friend Leo on our Discord server, so really thankful for him. This is my first resin. I don't think I'm a resin collector after this figure. I do appreciate it. I think it's very cool and just not a resin guy, but I still think it's pretty awesome to have out in the living room. Here's a custom figure of myself that I used with a bootleg of the Warriors Who Defend the Earth Goku to create. The last one prize Gohan from Dragon Ball Snap Collection is also right here, and I think it's a very nifty figure. And then everything else is down here in the glass case for the collection. And this is pretty much where I have my complete set of Dragon Ball manga, my complete set of Dragon Archive figures, which are super charming, an authentic Dragon Radar, the Blood of Saiyans Kaioken Goku that my best friend Brent got me, an authentic Pokeball, some more acrylic stuff from Dragon Ball, the Matchmaker's Buu Saga stuff. I'm still waiting on Super Saiyan 3 Goku, so stay tuned for his review with Fat Buu. The best FES Goku figures back there too. A really cool logo of my channel name. Some other manga. I don't just collect Dragon Ball manga. I have Naruto and One Piece, JJK, and some other stuff. And then the rest is like gifts from my family, like my nephew and my sister, and some authentic Dragon Balls. Even though the Dragon Balls aren't authentic, it is a bootleg, but they feel and look like the real thing. And there's my cat, Albie. She's just lurking around, wanted to be in the video. All right, we're almost done here. We have my wall shelves, which have some other stuff like miscellaneous Ichiban Kuji figures, some Crane figures, the Bandai Namco Amusement Goku figures, the Saiyan Raised on Earth, the only Android 21 Ichiban Kuji figures. I decided to pick her up recently, and I don't understand how Bandai dropped the ball and only made these for her, but here we are. And the last one, prize Yamcha's there, the Grandista Super Saiyan Goku, and the new GX Materia Super Saiyan Goku. So a lot of cool little things. And there was also these little world collectible figures of Goku that my friend Stardust got me, which was very thankful for him to gift those to me as well. And then our final shelf has the remaining Super Master Stars Piece Bardock set, the Master Stars Piece Super Saiyan 2 Gohan Special Color Edition, and the big fat Cell that just came out in Omnibus Cross, who can't fit in my main collection, so he's got to be here for now until the Maja case gets here. But yeah, that is it. This may hopefully be a not so long video, but I'm gonna try my best to edit this down so it's not super long. I hope you guys enjoyed seeing my collection the way it is now. I'm hoping to double the size of my collection over the next year or so, but let's see if I can get away with that and have space for everything, because I don't think we're moving anytime soon. Maybe not for another 2 to 4 years, but I guess we'll see. But let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. If there's anything that you saw that you want to learn more about, I should have a review for almost everything in this video, but if not, just let me know down in the comments. I would love to hear what you think of my collection. Maybe if you want me to look at other people's collection and, have a reaction to that, let me know. It's something I've always been considering, and I'd love to see other people's collections. But if you enjoyed this video, please subscribe, like the video, and if you do want to support the channel even further beyond, you can become a YouTube member. Whatever you decide to do, your generosity is greatly appreciated, and please join our Discord server. There's a link in the description below. We have a lot of fun in there. We build great relationships in there, and there's a lot of tools for you to learn more about this hobby and the Dragon Ball market. But I think that's all I got for you guys today, so till the next video, I'll see you all later.